Hey guys, Noah from Stage 3 Motorsports out here today with the Putco metal LED replacement bulbs for the 04 to 18 F150s. We've got our 2018 out here and we're going to show you how to do these as the tail lights and the turn signals. But first, before we jump in that install, make sure you head down below, hit subscribe to keep up on all of our other install and reviews, and also follow us on Instagram. So a few quick things to note before we start the install. First off, you're going to need a ratchet with a 5/16 socket on there to remove your tail light. Also, on these 2018 trucks, the blinker bulb and the taillight bulb are the same, so this 3157 part number will work for both of those, and that's what we're going to show you how to install. So let's jump right into it. So on our truck here, we have the DZ Tailgate Assist installed, so we just pop that out of the way. If you don't have one of these, you don't have to worry, but we just needed to make space to get to the two screws right here. Like we said, those are going to be a 5/16 socket that you're going to need to unscrew those, so we'll get in there and just pop those out right now. Once you've removed the two screws from the inside of the light housing, you're going to slide your hand around and get it on the lip, and then pull from here, bring it out towards you to release it. There's two plastic clips that hold it in at the back, so just a little bit of pressure should start to break those free. And then once you have it free, you'll have access to the wiring harness, which you can unclip from this side to get the whole housing off, and then you'll have easy access to the bulbs on the back. So now that we have our tail light housing outside of the truck, we have our LED bulbs here ready to install from the back. But first, before we jump into that, with LED bulbs used as turn signals, what you'll find in most vehicles is that it will cause it to hyperflash, where it blinks extremely quick. And so it's because the car system is not adapted for an LED bulb from factory. Now, what we discovered with our 2018 truck is that it doesn't actually hyperflash on the outside, but it will cause the indicator in your cab to flash rapidly. So to fix that, you can grab a resistor kit, like a 50-watt resistor kit, like this Diode Dynamics one or one from Putco, and we'll link that down below if you need it. And you can solder this into the truck's wiring harness, and that'll prevent any sort of hyperflashing whatsoever. But that can be a bit tedious. So what we're gonna do for the sake of our install is put the bulbs in, and then we're gonna use the ForceScan software to activate the truck's computer, shut that down so it doesn't force it to hyperflash, and we should have no problems whatsoever. Now, to remove your factory bulb, you're simply gonna reach in here and untwist this to unlock it. When you pull it out, you'll be able to just grab this bulb from the base, wiggle it free of the housing. Then once that's free, our new Putco bulb can punch right in place of that. They have a nice click, make sure it sits in there solid, and this will insert back in the same hole. And then make sure you twist it again to lock that tight so no moisture or dirt gets in there. And then we'll do the same thing for the lower bulb. All right, and that's it. So the next step is going to be to take our housing now and reinstall it back in the truck. So obviously reinstalling the taillight housing is basically just going to be the reverse of how we pulled it out. One thing to note is if you are using resistors and you have them wired into your harness here, make sure that those are out of the way because they will heat up and they can melt these wires on the back if they touch them, so you'll want to tuck those in and just keep them separate. That being said, if you're doing it like we are, where you're not going to be using resistors, just be mindful of your 3 pins that they all line up, and then reconnect your harness and punch it back in. So that clips into place. Make sure our wire's there. And we'll line up all of our pins properly. And then once you know you've got them lined up, you can just give some pressure. And it'll clip into position. With the taillight housing pushed into place, we can go back inside the bed here and install these 2 screws to make sure it's secured. So for most of you, attaching those 2 screws at the end will basically be your final step. We do have our DZ Tailgate Assist that we want to reattach, so we're going to put that in there, give it a little hit, lock it into place, and now we are all set, and you can close your tailgate back up. All right, guys, that wraps up our install of these Putco taillight bulbs, and as you can see, they look really nice. They definitely update the taillight housing a little bit and have a good bright light output. Now that we've got our Putco LED bulbs installed in the taillights and it's a little later in the evening, you can get an idea of how these actually look on the truck and what that light output kind of looks like. Obviously, they're a lot brighter than just a standard halogen bulb that comes from factory, and I personally really like the style of this in these newer trucks like an 18. The LEDs seem like they belong and it really fits the updated taillight housing and just the look of the truck overall. So definitely a nice upgrade, really clean, super simple, didn't take us a lot of effort to get these in here, and pretty affordable for the most part too. If you guys are interested in picking up a set of Putco bulbs for your taillights, you can head down to the description below and we'll have a link for you to head over to our site, and we'll see you guys next time.